Hello, welcome to Uncle Solo's problem solving classroom. This is Math Pro by Bloom Education. Okay, this is going to be a quick introduction to solving quadratic equations. Okay, so look at this example here. Solve for x in this 3x minus 4 equals 5. I'm going to use this equation here, okay, to show the difference between this linear equation. This is linear equation. Okay, the x here, 3x, see, there's a 1 here, but we don't write it, okay? So it's the power of the x is 1, okay? And how do we solve this equation? Typically, we isolate your variable, that what variable you're solving for. We isolate it to one side of the equation, typically on the left side, and then your constant to your right side. So here I add 4. I move the 4 from the left to the right, and then I have 3x equals 9, and I solve for x, and then x equals 3, and I have just one value for x, because the power of this x here is only 1. Okay, now what about this example 2 here? Solve for x in this equation. Now you see x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, so here you see this x here has got 2 there. So it's a polynomial with degree of 2. Okay, and so now when you solve for these, typically you're going to have two values of x. Okay, now in linear equation, like I said, we isolate your variable that you're solving for to the left or to one side, and then your constant rest to one side. In this one here, we don't do that. We are not going to move the 4 to this side. Typically, we want to have the right side in this at this level in this video. We want to have the right side equals 0. So if you have any number on the right side, you need to move it to the left. So now we have x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. How do we solve it? Okay, from this point here, what you need to do first is to factor it to this form. Okay, you remember the exercises that we've been doing so far? Okay, it comes into play here. So you need to master it. So how do you factor x squared minus 3x minus 4? See the factors of -4 that add up to -3. What are those? It's -4 and +1. Okay, -4 times 1 is -4. When you add them up, you get -3. So these are the factors. Okay, now when we have two quantities multiplying and you're getting 0, you say either x minus 4 equals 0, okay, which means x equals 4, or x plus 1 equals 0, which means x equals -1. So since the highest power is 2, we end up with two values of x, typically two values of x. So we have x equals 4 and x equals -4. Okay, now let's try another one. Okay, what about we want to solve for p parenthesis p minus 5 is equal to -4. How do we solve for that? Okay, first we open the parenthesis, p squared minus p times 5 is -5p. So here, you remember I said if we have x plus x minus 4, x plus 1 equals 0, I say either this equals 0 or that equals 0. If it's any other number, let's say 4, you cannot say x minus 4 is this is either equals to 4 or x plus 1 equals 4. You cannot say that. It's only when the product is equal to 0. So here, okay, we have p squared. Say here you cannot say either p equals -4 or p minus 5 equals. You cannot say that. So you distribute it, right? And I said, what did I say again? Typically, we want the right side to be equal to 0. So we move the 4 over this side. Okay, so that's the difference between this quadratic equation and your linear equation, where we keep your constants on one side, typically on the right side, and your variable that you're solving for on the left side. Here, we move everything to the left. We want it to be equal to 0. Okay, after that, what do? You look at this expression, you factor it, then you say either p minus 1 equals 0 or p minus 4 equals 0, you get p equals 1 and p equals negative 4. Okay, what about if you have a squared plus 7a, a squared plus 7a equals 0? Okay, what are you going to do? You're not going to say a squared and then you move 7a to that side and then you divide both sides by a and you say a equals negative 7. No, you don't do that. Okay, if you do that, you're going to make a mistake. What have I said? Okay, we want to factor it. Okay, think factoring. Think factoring. So how do you factor a squared plus 7a? You remember all the exercises we did? Okay, what is the common factor to both of them? Is a, parenthesis a plus 7. So this is what you set equals 0. So you set this equals 0. Once you do that, then either this a equals 0, or a plus 7 equals 0, which means a equals negative 7. Okay, so review this video here. Okay, go over what I just did, then do it yourself, right? Master it, and then try these. Okay, see you in class. Apply yourself. I'll do my best for you. Apply yourself very well. And all things being equal, what do I say? You shall bloom. Welcome to Bloom Education. See you in class. Bye-bye.